thanks a lot for being patient and joining us for the inaugural fireside chat of Fashinza. We are live here from our office in Gurgaon, and I have with me a celebrity. Can we call you that?
No.
So we have Siddharth, the founder and CEO of Snitch, and a lot of you must have seen his pitch at Shark Tank Season 2, where he obviously, one of the first ones to get an all-shark deal. We're super excited to have you here, Siddharth.
Thanks, Pawan. My pleasure.
Calling you that?
No. There's a very obvious thing that happens, once you come out of an, episode and then you get that kind of recognition. But I think what was more important for us was the credibility that we got through that,
Absolutely.
through that entire journey.
Yeah. So we know Snitch as one of the leading fast fashion brands for men. I saw your pitch. You said, "मेरी substitute problem ये है मैं लड़का हूँ."
Yeah.
And so my wife keeps on cribbing कि यार क्या वही white, black, blue यही पहनते रहते हो. And I'm like, तू shopping करा दे मेरे को.
Yeah, that was the whole idea, right? Over the last 10 years, you've seen the way men have changed.
Right.
A lot of men-centric brands have actually started to scale. You couldn't imagine of a Beardo, right? A brand that is born out of nowhere, which is into your beard grooming. Then there's Man Matters. So many men-centric brand. And the thought that I was going through was that why not have a men's fast fashion brand? Right? Because I used to see people, wearing those same old boring clothes. ऐसे लगता था कि वो उन्हीं के पार्टी में यूनिफॉर्म पहन के खड़े. So, a black shirt and blue jeans was a standard kind of clothing. So, it was a very impulsive decision, I would say, but then it paid off.
Amazing. How much do you think the credit goes to Ranveer Singh?
No, yaar. His fashion is, completely something else. Very few men can actually carry that out. We're just trying to add a few elements to the existing kind of styles and make them a little more, quirky.
Right. No, I think I've personally seen that. Obviously, Ranveer Singh is on the other end of the spectrum, but there are so many other people, celebrities who have just made men's fashion more normal.
Correct.
Like, if I were to come wearing an orange color or a yellow color t-shirt in the office now, I don't feel weird.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I don't think that was the case, let's say, even 3 or 4 years back.
Yeah, absolutely. So I think it is because of the kind of shift that technology has brought in, especially, platforms like Instagram, Tinder,
celebrity.
And, your TikToks, etc. So everyone wants, to look fresh. What does clothing give you, right? It just gives you confidence.
Right.
And it gives you an opportunity to look yourself into the mirror. So I take it in
And,
if you are wearing a good attire, right? It'll at least make you spend another 5 seconds extra watching yourself in the mirror. And it gives you that confidence. And I think, thanks to your social media platforms like Instagram, no one wants to repeat their clothes on their feed, right? They want that freshness to be there. People are more concerned about the kind of following that they have and the kind they want to be portrayed in front of the world. And, everyone wants that right swipe on Tinder. So, things are changing, and that's why I thought that, there was a need for a men-centric brand which is focused towards men's fashion.
Great. I think would love to know, a lot of our viewers are actually designers or other brand managers, they're working in other brands or they have their own brands. Would love to know would love to know your journey, which they can take inspiration from. And especially, I think I was really impressed. Honestly, this is my second startup, but personally, I've never run a bootstrap startup. I have seen days where we were struggling for money,
Correct.
But I can only imagine what is running a bootstrap startup means for somebody like you. I think would love to know a bit more about that.
So it all started way back in 2008-9, right? So I was in college, and I used to help my dad at his jewelry store. But clothing was always a passion to me. So initially when I started off, I used to procure a few stocks and then sell it to a retailer and make $1,000-2,000 bucks. And that was very fascinating. And then, I asked my dad if I could, set up a retail store because there was a store getting vacated just next to his jewelry store. So I could manage both. And he was, okay, cool. If you want to do it, do it. And, with a mere investment of, I think, 2.5 lakh rupees, I started that store, which was barely about 350 square foot, wherein I used to sell these factory leftovers. So Bangalore was a hub for manufacturing, and there were a lot of surplus that was available. And so I started selling them in retail, but and it was just next to his jewelry store, so I could manage both. And he was, okay, cool. If you want to do it, do it. And with a mere investment of, I think, 2.5 lakh rupees, I started that store, which was barely about 350 square foot, wherein I used to sell these factory leftovers. So Bangalore was a hub for manufacturing, and there were a lot of surplus that was available. And one particular factory which was ready to sell the fabrics as well. And this was a beautiful shirt fabric. If you want to do it, do it. And with a mere investment of, I think, 2.5 lakh rupees, I started that store, which was barely about 350 square foot, wherein I used to sell these factory leftovers. So Bangalore was a hub for manufacturing, and there were a lot of surplus that was available. And one particular factory which was ready to sell the fabrics as well. And this was a beautiful shirt fabric. If you want to do it, do it. And with a mere investment of, I think, 2.5 lakh rupees, I started that store, which was barely about 350 square foot, wherein I used to sell these factory leftovers. So Bangalore was a hub for manufacturing, and there were a lot of surplus that was available. And one particular factory which was ready to sell the fabrics as well. And this was a beautiful shirt fabric. If you want to do it, do it. And with a mere investment of, I think, 2.5 lakh rupees, I started that store, which was barely about 350 square foot, wherein I used to sell these factory leftovers. So Bangalore was a hub for manufacturing, and there were a lot of surplus that was available. And one particular factory which was ready to sell the fabrics as well. And this was a beautiful shirt fabric. If you want to do it, do it. And with a mere investment of, I think, 2.5 lakh rupees, I started that store, which was barely about 350 square foot, wherein I used to sell these factory leftovers. So Bangalore was a hub for manufacturing, and there were a lot of surplus that was available. And one particular factory which was ready to sell the fabrics as well. And this was a beautiful shirt fabric. If you want to do it, do it. And with a mere investment of, I think, 2.5 lakh rupees, I started that store, which was barely about 350 square foot, wherein I used to sell these factory leftovers. So Bangalore was a hub for manufacturing, and there were a lot of surplus that was available. And one particular factory which was ready to sell the fabrics as well. And this was a beautiful shirt fabric. If you want to do it, do it. And with a mere investment of, I think, 2.5 lakh rupees, I started that store, which was barely about 350 square foot, wherein I used to sell these factory leftovers. So Bangalore was a hub for manufacturing, and there were a lot of surplus that was available. And one particular factory which was ready to sell the fabrics as well. And this was a beautiful shirt fabric. If you want to do it, do it. And with a mere investment of, I think, 2.5 lakh rupees, I started that store, which was barely about 350 square foot, wherein I used to sell these factory leftovers. So Bangalore was a hub for manufacturing, and there were a lot of surplus that was available. And one particular factory which was ready to sell the fabrics as well. And this was a beautiful shirt fabric. If you want to do it, do it. And with a mere investment of, I think, 2.5 lakh rupees, I started that store, which was barely about 350 square foot, wherein I used to sell these factory leftovers. So Bangalore was a hub for manufacturing, and there were a lot of surplus that was available. And one particular factory which was ready to sell the fabrics as well. And this was a beautiful shirt fabric. If you want to do it, do it. And with a mere investment of, I think, 2.5 lakh rupees, I started that store, which was barely about 350 square foot, wherein I used to sell these factory leftovers. So Bangalore was a hub for manufacturing, and there were a lot of on YouTube and internet, and we barely had about 35 products on the website. And since then, it's been a roller coaster ride. And today we ship almost 5,500 orders every single day.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah,
That's a big jump because I saw you were shipping 2,000
yeah.
when the episode
Yeah, I mean,
aired.
before the episode aired, we had actually reached 3,500, and post
Okay.
airing, we've touched about 5,500 now.
Amazing. I think number one, congratulations.
Thank you.
And this is a great and inspiring journey.
Yeah.
Would love to know more. I think I meet a lot of brands, especially those who just sell online. A lot of them have this question whether they should be selling on Myntra, Ajio, or they should be going direct to the consumer, setting up online their own website. What are the biggest challenges? Everybody's just scared of this. Like Myntra, Ajio, it's easy to list,
Correct.
but as you said, it's difficult to make money, and it's also like we're just one of the
See, I
hundreds of
think
people.
this again depends on what your vision is, right? What do you want to be? If you just want to sell goods as a label and make money, Ajio, Myntra is the bestest of platforms. But for us, it was very clear that we want to make this a brand.
Okay.
So there is a difference between a brand and a label.
Right.
Once you go on a Myntra or an Ajio, right, you'll scroll through thousands of designs. Your first eye-catching point would be the design and not the name of the brand.
Correct, absolutely.
And then you would go in and probably look at the size chart, colors available, place the order, and once maybe it comes to you, would know that this is the brand. So people don't really look at brands on these platforms unless you're like a Nike or a Reebok or a Puma, which is already an established brand. So we were very clear that we didn't want to be one of those, and create a whole set of niche audience for ourselves and create like a whole story behind the brand. And that was the decision that we took, that no, we would start off with our own platform and then probably go towards marketplace with a very different strategy.
Got it. So how did you get the first initial set of customers?
Yeah, so this is very interesting, right? As soon as we started the website, so obviously I had a huge broadcast list, started,
Nice.
telling my friends, family, etc. And so were others, like Chetan is our CMO, so he did it, and we had a couple of other staffs.
Nice.
So the initial 5-6 days were amazing. I mean, our target was to get 10 to 15 orders a day. And we were getting like 20-25 orders. It was obviously because of friends, family, and then after a week it started slowing down. And that's when we realized, hey, what just happened, right? Because the initial days were these people supporting you.
Right.
But then suddenly you see that there's no one on the website, barely about 10-20 visitors. That's when we learned marketing. How Facebook ads could be run. How our content related stories created. I think a lot of things that we did was very spontaneous and to the point. And I think our timing was very important.
Okay.
So we just launched post-COVID, right? So a lot of these offline brands were shut. They did not have that presence online.
Right.
That was one big benefit that we had. And we changed as per the need of the hour. Initially, we started off with boxers. They were selling.
Right.
I mean, we were selling 300-400 boxes every single day.
Everybody wanted boxes during the COVID,
it
right?
was that whole lockdown phase.
Exactly.
And then our cohort sets became a very new category. I mean, we were one of the category creators in that. Which is the paired clothing for men. There was no brand in India that was making. So that got us, a good recognition. And I think the major key factor, I would say, is towards, your obsession towards customers. And we are a customer obsessed brand,
Nice.
right? Every single day, the first thing that I do is read reviews. Every single
That's
day.
amazing.
As soon as I get up in the morning, the first thing I do is go and read all the reviews. Good ones, bad ones, whatever it is, I personally read them. And I think, just to give you an example, Domino's is not the best pizza maker in the world, right? It is, why they are number one is because of the consistency in taste, delivery, and the customer experience that they give. Same with Starbucks, right? Not the best coffee makers in the world, but their customer loyalty is incredible.
Absolutely.
So I think it is a customer who actually makes, the brand, and not by what your product is or anything else. It is just these customers. How well can you serve them, and what are the chances that they will recommend you to their friends and family?
Did you put in like a significant capital when you started B2C?
Not really, yaar. I mean, we already had inventory. The only thing that we had to invest was on the photo shoot and setting up the website. And the best thing that happened to us was it was lockdown. So a lot of these celebrity influencers were stuck in their houses, and all we had to do is just ship them goods and ask them if they could do some stories, etc. So I think that today, if you have to even go to an influencer, you'll have to pay them at least 20,000-30,000 rupees, a
Correct.
decent one.
So you didn't pay them anything?
Absolutely nothing.
Wow.
So I think that
That's
was
amazing.
that was one key thing towards timing. And the second is we launched a program called BR Ambassador.
Okay.
Right, so you just have to go on our website. There's a page called BR Ambassador. Just click on that, fill up the basic information, and you're the brand ambassador for Snitch. What we did was we made our customers the brand ambassadors for the brand. What this actually does is that the customer feels important because he's like, I'm the brand ambassador for this
Right.
brand. We incentivize him on the kind of following that he has, and plus if there is any purchases that happen through his coupon code. So we built all of those things, and I think the more important thing is whether that customer has 200 or 50 followers, but they are genuine followers.
Correct. Absolutely.
And that is his close circle,
Right.
and they would obviously listen to him. And I think that program actually helped us gain a lot of organic growth.
Great. No, I think I read two things there. One is just being super scrappy when you're when you're starting up. I think, like you said, just sending out free goods to all these influencers, you don't even need to pay them. And I think the second part, like using friends and family as your initial set of customers.
Absolutely. I think a lot of them, especially if someone wants to start off, right? The thing is that don't wait. So my only suggestion would be that, a lot of people waste a lot of time thinking too much.
Correct, right.
These days, you could just start off by selling on WhatsApp and Instagram.
Absolutely.
Once you get that kind of confidence, it takes you about 3 or 4 days to set up a website, with the likes of Dukaan and Shopify. So I think, the only differentiator between a hardcore hustling entrepreneur and a, normal person is that the way they think. Right. I always believe that if you want to do something, just dive into it, and then you'll know the way out of it.
No, absolutely. I think like even when you started B2B, just like taking up ready stock available, taking up leftover stock.
Yeah.
So you don't even need to go about building a huge inventory or investing a lot of money. I think this is where like a lot of young age entrepreneurs need to think that one large part about entrepreneurship is just being scrappy. I mean, you're always short of resources no matter how big you become.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I'm sure that now you've raised external funding. I am pretty sure like even still you would feel that you're short of resources.
Yeah, see, Shark Tank for me was more towards obviously getting these sharks on board would get in a lot of credibility and value more than the kind of valuation that we would receive. And 1.5 crores will not change the journey of my company, right? We are already at a ARR of about 120 crores now.
Wow.
So when we were at Shark Tank, we were at about 90 to 100 crores. But even before the pitch was out, we were already at imagine of an Alan Solly, right? So what do you think of the brand is your, they would have some formal shirts, some chinos and formal suits. When you think of a super dry, I think it is towards the kind of functional clothing that they make, hardcore casual stuff. And once you look at an H&M or a Zara, you wouldn't even know what are you going to buy before entering the store, right? You might buy a footwear, you might buy a denim, you might buy a shirt. Sure. I mean, it is the kind of offering that they give you and the kind of aspiration that they bring. So I think this is something that is a big difference between a traditional brand who's got its own set of ethos and there's a storyline behind them. Whereas a fast fashion brand would be more towards trends and more towards the kind of Gen Z people. Yeah.
Right. But I mean, I think especially post-COVID, a lot of these traditional brands are facing challenges. I think most of them are trying to move away, diversify into other categories.
Correct.
Like Alan Solly or Van Heusen, for example, started their activewear collection.
Correct.
I mean, they're hardcore men's formal wear brand, but now they are doing activewear as well.
Yeah, but I think the difficult thing to do that would be, once your brand is tagged to one particular thing, then I think it becomes very difficult for you to pivot from there on, right?
Correct.
You cannot imagine Domino's making burgers and selling them. So it is as good as that.
I know. So tell me a bit, I heard that your dream is to go global.
Absolutely.
What are your plans? Where do you think? Honestly, a lot of Indian companies have gone global, a lot of Indian people have gone global, but we still haven't seen many Indian brands really go global.
I think, at least for now, India has got a huge opportunity, and we are, barely doing anything here.
Right.
So the first thing that we want to do is, go across all, cities and pin codes and try and, first capture the Indian market. We are coming up with, Snitch Plus, which is towards the plus size category. Again, a huge market in India, very untapped. And the other thing that we are doing now is coming up with offline stores, more like digital experience stores, highly tech driven. So we're planning to do at least 8 to 12 stores in the next 2 or 3 quarters. And I think it is more towards, for me especially, it is one day at a time rather than thinking 5 years down the lane. But I think till now, whatever plans that we've made, we've surpassed that. So I think we'll do good.
Got it. So remain focused on India for now.
Yeah, remain focused for India for now. We might do a little bit pilot towards the Middle East, which we are already thinking of. Yeah.
That's great. How about, let's say, one of the other positioning for you is Make in India.
Correct.
Your 100% goods are made in India.
Absolutely.
And we keep on hearing about these manufacturing challenges in India and how manufacturing, there's a narrative that manufacturing is moving out of India or it is coming back to India but not enough. Where do you see, is India capable enough to manufacture all kinds of categories that you want to do, or are there certain categories you're finding really challenging to do in India?
I think COVID played a very important role here, right? Pre-COVID, I would say that India was not capable, but post-COVID, I'm sure it is capable. Reason being the kind of, changes a lot of factories have done in terms of technology. So pre-COVID, these puffer jackets, etc., were very difficult to be manufactured in India. A lot of fabrics, a lot of kind of styles was very difficult and expensive maybe. But I think post-COVID, this has changed. At least the experience that I have in the manufacturing line for about 8 to 10 years, and helped us, identify those units and then get products manufactured. I strongly believe that India is the future. Not only for the next 10 years, but I think the next era belongs to India, and the kind of changes you would see in the next maybe 4 or 5 years would be tremendous, especially in the fashion space. At least I've been witnessing quite some drastic changes.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think personally we have seen how activewear as a category, which was pretty much non-existent in India, and now we have so many manufacturers actually doing activewear.
Correct.
And even the fabrics, I think obviously some of the fabrics are still imported from China, but a lot of fabric mills in Surat at least are doing really good stuff and I think really innovative stuff. I think I never expected India, like I've obviously been in industry for a shorter time compared to you,
Yeah.
but the narrative I see is actually has really changed on the ground.
Correct.
Even though we feel that Bangladesh might be cheaper or China has a different quality, Vietnam is great, but I see pretty much everything happening in India. Like
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it again depends on how do you want to sell your product and what is your thought process behind it. So we always want to be a made in India brand.
Nice.
For India and then for the world. So that is our narrative and which we are absolutely clear about.
Oh, this is amazing.
Yeah.
So one more, you mentioned technology a few times.
Correct.
Where do you see technology plays a part in a D2C brand like yours?
I think technology is everything, yeah. Just to start off with, right? The first thing is trust. The most difficult thing for a D2C brand is to build trust, and the same was with us. Now, how do you build trust when you're a new brand, right? The kind of frauds that happen across Facebook and Instagram on a daily basis, it is very difficult for consumers to believe you.
Right.
So to build trust, we made sure our communication was, absolutely bang on. So from day one, we created that WhatsApp bot, which was verified. And your whole communication happens to that, saying that, hey, your order has been placed, this is where it is now and it has been shipped. It will be delivered, within 24 hours. The entire cycle towards the entire communication we did it was towards, WhatsApp and at least towards the shipping part of it. The second most important thing was the customer experience that we gave post the sale. I think what we did was, we just delivered on what we promised.
Okay.
If we said that, there would be new styles every single day, we made sure new styles are there. And this couldn't happen without technology, obviously.
Nice.
The second thing that we promised was your returns and exchange would be hassle-free. We made sure that it is hassle-free. We were one of the first brands to give you refunds or exchange at your doorstep.
Oh, nice.
There was no brand, a D2C brand especially, who used to do that. They used to wait for that product to come back to the warehouse, do that QC.
Correct.
And then probably give you that refund or exchange. But we said, no, we're not going to do that. So you have a pickup trigger once a product is picked up from your doorstep. And on that trigger, we used to refund and, create a new order if it is an exchange. So I think a lot of small things that we did driven by technology has actually helped us, even in our internal organization, right? We have trigger points for every single product, which is fast selling as well as slow moving.
Nice.
The biggest pain in the fashion space is your dead stock, right? You cannot, make a fashion brand and say that your inventory is, with zero dead stock. It'll be, foolishness of anyone, saying that unless you're into a customized kind of format. So we made triggers that, one particular product that went live today, how many days is it going to last? If 20% of the inventory is sold by day 3, the trigger goes to the production unit saying that, hey, this is something that you'll have to look upon and, make sure that it is live again within 10 days because this is just going to last us for, maybe 7 or 8 days more. So, and the same with the slow moving one. So any inventory that is not sold more than 45 days goes under a discount on our website. And post 60 days, then we have another channel for liquidation and it goes through that funnel. So I think a lot of small things around technology is what we built. And I obviously believe that any business that needs to scale has to have, a good set of technology.
Nice. Did you develop this technology in-house?
A lot of it was in-house, like the WhatsApp
Right.
communication bot, etc. We partnered with a vendor and got that done. And in terms of our, the inventory part also, we've tied up with an agency and got these things customized. But I think now a lot of tools are readily available, right? And for anyone who has to start off, it becomes very easy because you have all these tools already readily available. It is just that, how do you think about it and what are the kind of tools that you would want to have?
Got it. No, this is super helpful. Tell us a bit, like, I mean, I think we've got a lot of people who want to start their own brands.
Yeah.
Where do you see a great opportunity? I don't want anyone to compete with you, but
No,
anything
I would be
outside.
more than happy. There's an old saying that anyone who wants to open a shop would always go to the market and open, right?
Right.
Why? Because there is an already existing market there. You wouldn't if I have to think of opening a retail store, I would go to the best of streets or best of mall. Why? Because the market is already existing. And the same thing is with business, right? We knew that this market is already cluttered. What is the differentiator that we could bring in was the key. So I think the most important thing for people to think is, how are they different?
Okay.
What is the kind of USP the brand would have?
Right.
What is the kind of communication you want the brand to have? So that is more important, and then the rest of the things would just follow.
What about, let's say, tier 3, tier 4? Is that a big customer base for you?
It is, but I strongly believe if you're creating a brand, like
Right.
it's like a pyramid. It has to start from the top. That is your tier 1. Maybe the Maruti would be selling their best cars, or the highest selling cars would be in the tier 3 and 4, but they can't start off from there, right? They had to start from the tier 1. So, or Mercedes for that example.
Right, absolutely.
It cannot start off from 3, 4 saying that this is my audience. So it needs to start from the top of the pyramid, which is your tier 1 and then 2. And I think 3 and 4 are more like followers of the 1 and 2. What I've personally seen also, a lot of my cousins who are at tier 3 and 4 would not be wearing cohort sets 2 years back. But now when they see the tier 1 and 2 wearing it, right, they've started to adapt that. In terms of skinny jeans, in terms of anything for that matter.
Got it. No, absolutely. And rightly mentioned, I think everybody, especially when it comes to fashion, people want to wear something that is aspirational.
Correct.
And like you said, like tier 3, tier 4 audience, for them the aspiration is people in tier 1 and tier
Correct.
2. And hence they want to go ahead and copy and emulate what these guys are wearing rather than... So, I mean, personally, I have never been a big fan of people starting from tier 3 or tier 4.
Correct.
Yes, you can probably create a label, you can probably go and copy stuff which others are doing and maybe sell at a cheaper price.
Correct.
But then, as you rightly pointed out, you're not building a brand then.
Correct. So to build a brand, I think a lot of people overcomplicate this, that it is very difficult.
Correct.
It is just the basic business your grandfather used to do. It is just the same. It is just the same. One is your product, needs to be bang on. Second is your customers. Customers are the king is a fact, and there is no denial to it. You take care of the customers, customers would take care of you. As a brand, that is very important. And I think building that whole narrative is very, very important.
Right. Like you absolutely said. I think we've got a few questions coming in from the audience as well. So one important question, interesting question. So you also mentioned that you want to go offline, you're setting up your own stores.
Yeah.
So is offline going to be the major focus going forward or online? And I think like one more question that I have.
Yeah.
Is there enough scale in online, or do you need to compulsorily go offline to build scale in your brand?
See, for us, it's not towards scale. For us, it is being available where customers are.
Got it.
So that is why the idea of going offline. It is very, very important for you to be wherever your customers are. Apparel especially is that touch and feel kind of a factor, right? To start off, I strongly believe that e-commerce is towards speed, and then once you achieve that speed and you want stability, offline is for stability.
Okay.
So I think a combination of both can make a brand very, very, very strong. The reason for us to go offline again is number one, get closer to our consumers. Two is the touch and feel factor, where your AOV automatically starts increasing once you're offline, right? Online, you would be hesitant to buy 5 t-shirts at a time.
Right.
You would just buy one, try, and then if it is okay, then you might order 3 more. But with offline, it is very different. A lot of impulsive buying happens. A lot of your AOVs, go higher. Your returns become almost zero.
Okay, nice.
So all of these things is very important. But again, offline is a very operational intensive kind of a game. So what we are coming up with is more like these digital experience stores, which would be smaller in size, where our core and bestsellers would be available for sale, but majority of the traffic would be driven online itself.
Oh, interesting.
So for Snitch, I would assure you that we would always be a digital first brand.
Got it.
Which even down the lane 4 or 5 years, I would say our 60% of the sales would come online from our own website and app. About 25% from online and 15% from marketplaces.
15%.
So this is the kind of combination that we're looking at.
Got it. But like, do you think offline is as tough as people feel it to be? Obviously, it does require some investment. You have to set up a store, furnish it. But let's say when it comes to inventory, does it increase your inventory cycles? Also, which one is more profitable?
Yeah, I mean, obviously it has its own pros and cons, right? Online, offline has their own pros and cons. The simple thing to look at if someone is offline and wants to start online is that, imagine you want to open a new store. What is the kind of capex that is required to open that one store? If you would have invested that kind of money into the online business, you would have, surpassed that one store's, sales, and vice versa for an online brand to go offline, right? It is obviously, the capex involved in each store would be there, but I think now, you have a lot of these concept stores. Like I just heard of a company called the Light Store, who give you a ready-made store. You could, just take it for 3 months, 6 months, 8 months, 10 months, how much of a period that you want to, and you either share them, your revenue, or there is a fixed amount. So I think a lot of these things would also come in, obviously, but I strongly believe that 23, 24 offline is going to play a very, very big role.
Amazing. In fact, like one of the things that we have seen personally across a lot of our customers is that offline buying is actually increasing now.
Absolutely.
I think there was a lot of hangover tailwinds for online, but as COVID has slowed down, as people have started becoming more itchy to go out and go to the malls.
No, that's why I said, right, business is going to be the same what your grandfathers used to do. So it's not going to change. Your models might change.
Correct.
But it is very important to understand human psychology when you create businesses, especially, right? What kind of customers are you going to focus on? What are they thinking?
Right.
Is very, very important. For us, we were very clear that our TG is, say, between 18 to 28.
Okay.
That is our core TG.
Nice.
And what do these people want? They want young, fashionable clothes, not very repetitive, and not very obvious that 5 people in that same party is wearing the same clothes also.
Yes.
So we had to make sure of all these things, and plus keep that price point very sharp.
Correct.
And customer experience was very, very important to these people, especially. So a combination of all this, I think, has helped us at least grow at that speed.
So we have one more question coming in that is more on the supply chain side.
Correct.
And I think, how do you think like suppliers need to adopt themselves, as given that fast fashion is obviously becoming the norm, and you guys are actually still growing while others are slowing down?
Correct. So I think, again, technology towards the supply chain is very, very important. If there is transparency there, it becomes very easy for the brand to plan their activities, and for the supplier to plan their next cycle of production that needs to be done. So I think a lot of technology is lacking towards the supply chain, especially at the manufacturer's end. So I think if they adapt to it, then it gives a lot more transparency in terms of what exactly is the status of one particular product.
Correct.
And when what are the next steps, and when would you expect the shipment, etc. And it needs to be very robust. So that is number one. Second, I think it is in terms of innovation, what different can they do? Now we've seen in the last 5 years at least, the Indian textile market has changed themselves towards making new fabrics, trying to copy what China has done in the fast fashion game at least. You wouldn't have imagined viscose playing such an important role in the men's category, right? And we were one of the first brands that I've been selling viscose shirts from like 2.5, 3 years.
Wow.
From the start.
Nice.
So I think a lot of these kind of small changes would help suppliers to the ones that will innovate themselves will obviously, grow a lot faster.
Absolutely, absolutely. And I think, so one more thing, do you think India with its vast network of small suppliers has an advantage in the fast fashion world compared to let's say, the big factories?
Yeah, absolutely. So even if you look at China, right, it is very, 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 strong with their retail and, wholesale presence that they have across.
Right.
You wouldn't be going to China and procuring stocks directly from the factory. Very, very, very few brands would do that, who has that, humongous kind of requirement. So it is all these small traders who would, fill that gap. And the same with India. The way India is growing, especially in the fashion space, I think a lot of these small players would play a very, very, very key role in brands like, at least for brands like us, wherein, any innovative product that we see, we would be more than happy to try that.
Absolutely. And I think personally, one of our theses was that there are so many thousands of small suppliers in India.
Correct.
And they are extremely agile.
Correct.
Like they can do one stuff today, other stuff tomorrow. They can do small runs.
Correct.
Which is very relevant in today's world, especially for online. And hence, this is actually a strength.
Correct.
Historically, we have seen small suppliers as India's struggle because of lack of efficiency, lack of professionalism. But I think in this world, having small suppliers is actually a strength for India.
Absolutely right. It is the hunger that is required.
Exactly.
What kind of hunger do they have, and how fast can they change themselves, which is very, very important. You've seen a lot of factories during COVID change themselves into manufacturing masks and these PPE kits, etc. So they at least sustained that period. A lot of them didn't do it, and they failed. So I think it is very important that how flexible you are in terms of changing yourself.
Nice. Any plans to expand into other categories, kids, women?
No, I think we have a very, very, very big market yet to be exploded. So we would focus on the men's fashion space and probably see towards the other categories, especially women and kids, maybe after a couple of years. But as of now, the focus remains on the men's fashion space. Absolutely.
Yeah. I think men's fashion is extremely, extremely underpenetrated.
Yeah, it is. And a lot of this is because, brands didn't actually focus on the men's, fashion space. I think that was something that was very... something that was very big and very missing also. A lot of brands did not actually focus at all. They were always focused on the women's fashion space. And the best part is that men are sticky.
Yeah.
Right. When I say that, supposedly you went to a mall with your wife, right? You would go to one store and buy whatever you need for a month. Whereas she would go to 5 different stores to buy one single product. To buy a lipstick, she would go to one store. To buy a footwear, she would go to one store. To buy a dress, she would go to one store. But men are sticky. And when I say sticky, that means that they are, once they get the right kind of product, they would, stick on to that brand.
And I think there's also a strong brand affinity.
Absolutely.
So we have seen that branded products sell in men's more than, let's say, in women category.
Correct.
Is that your learning as well?
Yeah, I think it is changing a lot, right?
Okay.
So earlier for women, it was only fashion, and they did not care about the label, etc. But for men, it was always the label that mattered and not the kind of fashion. But now I think that is changing.
Okay.
And a lot of men are ready to try, new age brands, which is offering much fresher, styles and designs.
Nice. Thanks a lot, Siddharth. I think it's been
Pawan.
I did not even realize we're at 4 p.m. already.
Oh, okay.
Such a nice, breezy chat. I think would love to end with some note for the budding entrepreneurs out there. So many people want to start their own brands, but are, let's say, curious to know how to go about it, or just do not feel confident enough to go about starting it.
I think it is very important to have that hunger in you, right? What do you want to do, and what is your vision like? And my only piece of advice would be don't lock yourself into a room. Right, go out and explore things. Don't be scared to take those risks, and I think make mistakes, make as many as mistakes that you want to, but try and not repeat those mistakes. Especially the good thing that happened to me was a lot of mistakes happened in the early stage.
Nice.
Now, my decision making is more data driven and not, that impulsive kind of decisions that we used to take. So I think it is a journey, yaar. I mean, everyone have their own opinion towards this. My only opinion would be, just go out there and figure out things. And I think India is got tremendous opportunity now. Any field that you want to go in with, just have a very different kind of USP towards the kind of product that you want to make, and sky's the limit.
Perfect. No, thank you very much. I think. Oh, sorry. We just have one last question.
Sure.
So, what are the top 2 challenges in? So, we spoke about a lot about starting up a brand. What are the top 2 challenges scaling up a brand?
So I look, scaling a brand is again a thing that has been overhyped. I feel it is a very gradual process.
Okay.
It is not that you're at 0 to 10 crores within 2 months and then you hit 100 crores within 2 years. Very, very difficult. And we were lucky enough that we are the only D2C brand in India that has touched 100 crores within 2 years being bootstrapped.
Wow.
And the reason for that, I think, is towards the obsession that we had towards customers. And I've been repeatedly telling you this. Why customers? Because they are the people that will actually help you in growing yourself. For example, when we started off, right, we were doing about 10 or 15 orders a day. We used to take care of the entire bit, from marketing to packaging to handling, customers, etc. The advantage that we got was that we, got to know the entire, the entire factors that were involved in each of these areas, and it helped us while scaling, building that entire team. So we used to handle customer support. I used to, me and Chetan used to reply on Instagram, converting customers. We had a chat bot on the website. We used to, interact with customers, etc. And the same with, customer support and all other elements. But scaling a business is, it is very easily doable thing. But then when you overthink, it becomes too complicated. That is what I feel. At least in our case, that is what happened. We never overthought that, this is the kind of number we want to reach to or anything. Scaling could be just a good organic 5 to 10% growth month on month.
Nice.
That is it. If you keep doing that, the compounding of this is very, very powerful.
Absolutely. I mean, 5 to 10% month on month effectively means you're
correct. You're doubling
yourself every year.
So you don't have to actually overthink so much.
Right.
It is, how efficiently can you keep doing things that you're good at.
Absolutely. I think like a lot of it just comes down to doing the same thing again and again and again.
Correct.
And you can keep on getting better at it, just way far better than like what others are just good at.
Correct. Especially in the fashion space, right? And if you want to create a very different kind of, brand, when a buyer goes on an Ajio or a Myntra or any of these platforms, right? It is, why do they go there? It is the kind of offering that they give, and they know that they are not going to be betrayed by that particular, company, because the kind of trust that they've built. If you are able to build that same kind of trust on your own platform, then sky is the limit, right? If you just do these small basic things, which are the basic ethics of any business, I think the other aspects don't really matter a lot. It is just the basic ethos of business which was there hundreds of years into existence. It is just the same steps that you will have to follow. That is your product, customer service, post your sales, what kind of service do you give, and in terms of customer repeats, how do you keep them engaged, etc.
Perfect. I think like the number of times I've heard customer here, is really defines like why they have been successful.
Correct.
And I think this is what everybody everybody listening, including us, we need to just really be extremely obsessed about customer. I think this is, and by the way, like we celebrate our 3rd anniversary at Fashinza
Wow,
today.
congratulations.
No, thank you. And I think
It is very important, right? Like even if you look at, these stores that you those number of designs, still your parents would just go to that one store to buy whatever that is required. It is the same thing that applies here also. How well can you build that customer loyalty? Today a lot of these family stores, especially in the tier 3 and 4, I've seen people who are committed to that store. They will not buy anything else from anywhere else. They would just go to that one particular store and buy. Why is that happening? It is because the kind of psychological benchmark that they put on their customers, and it is the same thing in the online space as well.
Got it. No, absolutely. I think trust has always played a significant factor in India and anywhere, to be honest.
Correct.
I think the brand is also large part of the brand is about trust.
Correct.
We buy Nike because we trust their products to be good. We trust their products to be innovative.
Absolutely.
And similar the case with like mom and pop stores.
Correct.
I mean, like our parents knew their shopkeepers by name. They still do.
Correct. It was because they were directly engaging with you, right?
Correct.
The beauty of a D2C brand is that you are directly engaging with the customer.
Correct.
And if you can crack that, sky is the limit.
No, absolutely. No, thanks a lot, Siddharth, for being with us, and thank you everyone for joining in us on our first fireside chat on our 3rd anniversary. I'm sure there's a lot of entrepreneurs out there. Highly encourage you to keep starting. This space needs a lot more people, a lot more innovative people to come in and build and make this an extremely agile and innovative industry. And this was our first chat, but we hope to get more budding entrepreneurs, more D2C brand owners to here. We'll have a lot more of them, and hope to make this a very interesting learning platform for all of us.
Absolutely. I mean, a good thing that you guys are doing this, because it is very, very important, at least for the budding entrepreneurs who have that pressure, which is like that pressure cooker. Which a lot of these overhyped talks actually put them into.
Yes, I know.
And which is the actual way of a business is very, very, very simple, right? It is just that you overthink and overcomplicate a lot of things.
No, I like the way how you say it. Like our grandfathers also did that. I think like, in India has always been a land of entrepreneurs, of traders.
Correct. Now it is just that it has been overhyped, and a lot of these entrepreneurs have been put at that kind of position. But if I have to think about when my grandfather came with 0 rupees to Bangalore, and what he had built over 10-15 years was much larger than what I'm doing.
Amazing.
Right. It is just that things are very open now, and you have that opportunity to learn from others' mistakes.
No, you're right. I think it has only become easier.
Correct. It
There
has
are
become very,
resources
very
out
easy.
there. There is
Today, if you
support.
want to start off a brand, it is so easy that you don't have to actually do anything. Just have your 5 or 10 good tested products. Your websites are readily available. You have the likes of Dukaan, Shopify, etc. Just plug and play.
Absolutely, and then you have people like us to manufacture the goods.
Sourcing,
I think you don't even need to do that.
Yeah, correct.
I think, you can even
small
start
batches. Yeah.
Exactly, you can start it as a single person.
Correct.
But great, thank you very much, Siddharth.
Thank you, Pawan.
Really
Thanks for
amazing to
having
have
me.
you here.